Beyond the Gates spoilers tease that the unexpected break in the airing schedule has ignited more questions than answers, leaving fans of the drama reeling and speculating about what's happening behind the scenes. Michelle Valjean, the celebrated creator of the show, recently addressed the hiatus in a social media post that only stirred more curiosity. According to Michelle, the production team was as surprised as the fans when CBS announced that no new episode would be aired in the week of June 30th. The writer emphasized she had received no prior notice from the network and seemed genuinely caught off guard. This revelation alone raised eyebrows among industry insiders. It is highly unusual for a network to suspend a soap opera's broadcast without providing a well-prepared explanation or promotional push. CBS's silence fueled rumors and whispers about internal discord. Michelle admitted in a public forum that she felt powerless, an emotion not commonly seen from a seasoned showrunner. The usually composed and confident creator appeared to be grappling with a deeper creative or logistical crisis. Adding fuel to the fire, CBS refused to confirm the reason for the unexpected break. While the network neither blamed the production team nor pointed fingers, their refusal to publicly support Michelle added to the speculation. Some believe this was CBS's subtle way of casting doubt on Michelle's reliability, especially in terms of adhering to tight soap opera deadlines. Others felt that Michelle might have missed crucial delivery dates for episodes, a mistake that forced the network's hand. Insiders close to the show hinted that the production team had been struggling to keep pace with its intense shooting schedule. With soap operas often operating just a few weeks ahead of their air dates, any delay in script completion or filming can snowball into a major scheduling issue. Reports began circulating that the last batch of episodes had barely made it to air and that the writer's room had been in chaos. The break may have been necessary simply because there were no completed episodes left to broadcast. This leads to deeper questions about the creative direction of the show. Some fans noticed that recent episodes felt rushed, with storylines introduced and abandoned quickly, and pacing that didn't match the show's previous consistency. Could the pressure to deliver a continuous stream of high-stakes drama have finally caught up with the production team? Michelle's confession of feeling helpless points to an emotional and creative burnout. Juggling multiple plot lines, character arcs, and fan expectations can wear down even the most experienced writers. It is also possible that the break was an emergency measure, not to cover up incompetence, but to protect the quality of the show. Viewers have a keen eye for dip in narrative standards. Instead of risking a botched run of episodes, the production may have opted to take a step back and realign its storytelling. This wouldn't be the first time a soap opera paused for recalibration, but rarely is it done so abruptly and without explanation. As Michelle and her team regroup, speculation around the break continues to snowball. Some industry experts argue that this break could be the calm before a massive shift perhaps in the writing team, or even in the leadership of the series itself. Could CBS be weighing new options for the show's future direction? Or is this merely a short-lived hiccup in an otherwise stable production timeline? Meanwhile, fans remain loyal but cautious. Online forums are filled with theories about what's next for their favorite characters and which storylines will be scrapped or retooled. The break has become a storyline in itself, one that's playing out in real time, blurring the lines between fiction and reality. And while CBS remains tight-lipped, all eyes are now on Michelle Valjean. Her next move, both creatively and publicly, may define not only the future of Beyond the Gates, but also her reputation as one of the genre's most beloved voices. As the week without new episodes drags on, behind-the-scenes tensions begin to leak into the public sphere. Former crew members anonymously shared with entertainment blogs that scripts had been delayed for weeks and that rewrites were ordered late into production cycles. Several of them described an environment of mounting pressure and frayed tempers. Cast members were reportedly frustrated with last-minute changes that made it difficult to memorize lines or grasp character motivations. All of this seems to point toward one central truth: the break wasn't a network power play, nor was it an intentional cliffhanger. It was a crisis of execution. Whether that crisis was caused by the relentless pace of production, mismanagement at the writing level, or something more political between CBS and the show's creative team is still unclear. What is clear, however, is that the break came at a pivotal moment both in terms of storyline and the show's momentum. Despite the chaos, fans remain hopeful. They understand the challenges of producing high-quality television under pressure, and many have expressed support for Michelle, praising her honesty. Viewer sympathy may buy the production a little goodwill, but it also raises the stakes for what comes next. When Beyond the Gates returns, it must do more than pick up where it left off. It must justify the silence, reassert its creative brilliance, and reassure an audience that's beginning to worry. Rumors of an emergency writer's retreat have only heightened the drama. Multiple reports confirm that Michelle and her core team are sequestered in a secluded location, furiously rewriting upcoming arcs. Some sources suggest that fan feedback is being actively incorporated to course-correct certain storylines that were previously unpopular or confusing. If true, this level of interactivity between audience and writers would be unprecedented and may change how future soap narratives are crafted. Whatever the case, this break has left a permanent mark on Beyond the Gates. It exposed the delicate machinery behind daytime television and showed how even a hit show isn't immune to production pitfalls. For now, viewers wait with a mixture of hope, frustration, and relentless curiosity. The cameras may have stopped rolling temporarily, but the drama, it seems, has only just begun. While the silence surrounding the show persisted, speculation surged behind the scenes. Michelle Val-Jean, though publicly composed, privately battled a storm of uncertainty and growing pressure. The abrupt hiatus had not only stunned the loyal fanbase, but stirred doubt among the show's own cast and crew. Rumors started to circulate in the hallways of the network's production offices. Some whispered about script delays, others hinted at creative conflicts, and more conspiratorially, murmurs suggested CBS may have been orchestrating a slow phase-out of the show. Michelle's refusal to comment beyond her initial statements only deepened the mystery. Some of her trusted collaborators noticed her increasing isolation. She withdrew from meetings, became unusually guarded, and declined to offer clear production updates. Though her creative vision had once been the cornerstone of the show's acclaim, now it was being scrutinized under an unforgiving spotlight. The mounting expectation to deliver a fresh wave of episodes was crushing, and every hour without a definitive announcement from CBS intensified the scrutiny. Meanwhile, executives at CBS maintained their strategic ambiguity. Publicly, they upheld support for the show, praising its cultural impact and passionate following. But within internal memos, a different tone emerged. Concerns were raised about sustainability, viewer metrics, and production consistency. It wasn't lost on anyone that Beyond the Gates had recently faced several schedule hiccups, episodes airing late or re-edit in a rush. Such issues, though minor in isolation, hinted at a larger problem, an increasingly strained production pipeline. In private, CBS executives debated how best to manage the narrative. They feared alienating the show's core fanbase by implying fault with the creative team, particularly Michelle, who had become an iconic name among viewers. Yet they also had to consider the broader programming slate and the competition in the time slot. Was Beyond the Gates worth the gamble, or had it reached its peak? Simultaneously, tension brewed within the cast. With no official word on filming schedules, several actors began exploring other roles. Agents called CBS Daily, demanding clarity. A few cast members suspected that Michelle Val-Jean was being sidelined, though no one dared say it aloud. The director of photography resigned quietly, citing uncertain production future as his reason. The costume department was told to hold off on new designs, and catering contracts went temporarily unpaid. Michelle, feeling the walls close in, called an emergency meeting with her closest writers. In that room, raw frustration surfaced. Some writers admitted they were burned out, others expressed creative disagreements that had simmered for months. A lead writer confessed that the next arc hadn't even been outlined fully, and that earlier rumors of a missing script weren't far from the truth. In desperation, Michelle proposed a bold, creative shift, a risky, reimagined storyline that could buy time and revive interest. But her team was divided. Some believed it would alienate the loyal viewers who had come to love the grounded realism of the show. Others saw it as a necessary evolution. The impasse made one thing clear: even internally, the future of the show was uncertain. On social media, speculation hit a fever pitch. Fan forums erupted with theories, dissecting every post from cast members, every interview snippet from CBS executives. One fan claimed to have overheard a crew member say that the show might return in August, but nothing was confirmed. Another swore they saw the lead actress at an audition for a different network show. Misinformation mixed with fragments of truth, creating a chaotic echo chamber. In the midst of this, a damning article was published by a major entertainment news outlet. The piece questioned Michelle's leadership and claimed that several production assistants had quit over toxic work conditions. It cited anonymous sources alleging that scripts were sometimes completed the night before filming, and that last-minute rewrites were the norm rather than the exception. Though Michelle denied the allegations, the damage was done. Public opinion started to tilt. CBS, watching the firestorm unfold, realized they had to make a move. They considered releasing a public statement of support for Michelle but hesitated. Instead, they leaked to the press that the show was undergoing a strategic realignment. That vague phrasing sparked even more speculation. Was it a rebranding? A soft reboot? Or a code for cancellation? Meanwhile, Michelle doubled down. She called in favors from veteran writers, begged the post-production team to polish old footage for flashback episodes, and even considered shooting a short miniseries arc independent of CBS's usual oversight, a guerrilla move that could keep the fan base engaged. It was daring, desperate, and risky. But for Michelle, it was better than letting the show vanish without a fight. Then came the shocking development. One of the show's original stars gave an unsanctioned interview. In it, the actor hinted that they had been approached about returning for a final farewell season and claimed CBS was planning to wrap the show quietly over the next few months. The interview went viral within hours. Fans felt blindsided. Hashtags like Save Beyond the Gates and Justice for Michelle trended for days. The backlash cornered CBS. They hastily scheduled a press conference, during which a network spokesperson announced that the show would return in 3 weeks with a shortened season, citing creative transitions and production recalibration as reasons for the pause. They thanked the audience for their patience and promised meaningful storytelling ahead. But behind the curtain, chaos continued. Michelle was granted only partial control over the next batch of episodes. A network-appointed producer was embedded into the writer's room. Every script now required executive approval before shooting. The friction was palpable. Michelle felt betrayed, yet she pressed on, knowing the only way to regain control was to deliver an undeniable creative triumph. She rallied her team for one last push, promising that the next episodes would not only answer lingering questions, but take the characters to places fans never expected. She even reached out to old collaborators, seeking fresh perspectives and willing to mend broken relationships for the sake of the show. Yet, not all her efforts bore fruit. Some actors declined to return. Budget cuts loomed. Filming permits were delayed. But despite it all, Michelle clung to the belief that the story was worth finishing. That the world she had built still had breath left in it. And in those late-night writing sessions, with coffee-stained scripts and tired eyes, a final arc began to take shape, one rooted in redemption, sacrifice, and legacy. What remained to be seen was whether CBS would let her finish what she started, or whether the gates would close before she had the chance to say goodbye. As the dust from the production pause began to settle, Michelle Val-Jean found herself in a delicate balancing act between corporate silence and creative chaos. The unexpected hiatus had already generated a storm of speculation, and the audience's trust was fragile. Yet, amid the media swirl, Michelle remained focused on the story she had been building, a narrative far more complex than the drama playing out behind the scenes. CBS's passive stance continued to fuel doubt about where responsibility truly lay. Rumors hinted that internal communication had broken down, and a few quiet murmurs suggested that scenes meant for the upcoming episodes had not even been filmed yet. That speculation carried weight, especially as several cast and crew members began to post cryptic messages on social media, frustrations disguised as vague metaphors, all hinting at a production straining at the seams. But Michelle Valjean was not about to let the show's momentum crumble. She returned to the writer's room with renewed determination, reshuffling arcs and fast-tracking scene rewrites with surgical precision. Her focus landed squarely on resolving the emotional fallout between Andre, Danny, and Ashley, the tangled love triangle that had fractured fan alliances. Back in the story, Ashley, dealing with her pregnancy in isolation, decided she would no longer wait for Andre to make up his mind. She visited a lawyer, intent on determining what parental rights Andre would have if he continued to shirk responsibility. In a parallel emotional spiral, Danny, who had taken a break from her job to process the trauma of betrayal, received the results of a blood test confirming her pregnancy. Her worst fears crystallized into an unwanted truth. Both women, now carrying life inside them, realized they had more in common than they ever imagined. When Ashley confronted Danny at a clinic, a chance meeting neither had planned, an unexpected conversation unfolded. Instead of erupting into blame, both women broke down. Tears, anger, confusion, and, ultimately, resolve. They formed an uneasy alliance, no longer revolving around Andre's indecisiveness, but around their own futures. They agreed to demand the truth from Andre, one last Mia private meeting where each would give him a chance to acknowledge the pregnancies and his role as the father. Andre, having buried himself in distractions, was unprepared when the women arrived together. The look in their eyes spelled finality. As they presented him with the truth, he stammered, hedged, and tried to deflect, but his charm failed him. Ashley left first, her silence far louder than any confrontation. Danny lingered a moment longer and handed him a sonogram. That moment shattered the illusion Andre had maintained. Left alone, he sat in silence for hours, until the light faded through his apartment windows. The final arc centered on Michelle Valjean herself, a semi-fictionalized version, subtly introduced into the narrative, playing a mentor figure to one of the secondary characters, allowing the audience to witness the toll of leadership, accountability, and burnout. In the season finale, a fictionalized producers' meeting is woven into the story. The fictional network executives, mirroring CBS, question the viability of continuing a show that has stirred so much off-screen drama. But the creative voice in the room, the Michelle-like figure, defends her vision, arguing that messy truths, when faced head-on, create the most compelling storytelling. In a poetic twist, the episode closes with Ashley and Danny at a park, watching a group of children play. They sit in silence, both visibly pregnant, their futures uncertain but self-defined. The camera slowly pans to Andre in the distance, standing by a tree, watching them with a gaze full of regret and understanding, not seeking forgiveness, only clarity. Fade to black. The credits roll. And in the final second, a single line appears, "To be continued." That subtle invitation suggests that the show, much like the lives of its characters, is not ready to end. It only needed a pause to breathe, realign, and return stronger than before.